Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Lunchtime Digest. Happy Monday, Hayley.
Happy Monday, Micah. How are you today?
I am doing well today. And before we got on here, we were talking about your big screen debut on Twisters 2. So we got to go see it. Edmond Counseling took employees and family to got to go see it on Saturday. So we got to see Hayley on the big screen. But Hayley, just share with us a little bit about that experience for you and where we can see you in the film.
Oh, man. So, first of all, thank you, Micah, for taking us all to the movie on Saturday. And also, thank you for being flexible in my random time off last year. I would have to text Micah about 10 p.m. I got to go film tomorrow. Is it okay if I'm gone? And he covered for me. So, I really appreciate it. But you can catch me in the second tornado chase scene. I am a storm chaser with Tyler's crew. It was an incredible experience to be able to film. I'm also on there a couple more times, just briefly, but you can catch me for my 2.5 seconds of fame, about 10 minutes into the movie on the right hand side of the screen, running behind the crew. So it was an incredible experience, super fun. If you ever get a chance to be an extra, it's fun even just to see how the movies are made. So really encourage it. But thank you, Micah, again for your support in that.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. So, Hayley, what's going on with Oklahoma Counseling Institute right now?
So lots of fun things at OCI. So first of all, our fall training schedule is starting to come together. I am very happy to announce that on November 2nd, we're going to welcome back Tiffany Dilworth. She'll be joining us for a live grief webinar. She'll be talking about disenfranchised grief and working with folks with immigrant status who are experiencing grief. We are also very happy to welcome back Dr. Paul Hardy. Paul Hardy will be coming back the first Saturday in October. He'll be doing 2 live webinars with us that day. Both are approved for drug and alcohol specific. The first one will be working with motivational interviewing with substance abuse. And the second one will be children and families with substance abuse issues. And so very excited to welcome him back. We have a lot of other trainings coming up. We'll be announcing those dates and those presenters over the next couple of months. So if you would like to stay informed, be sure to reach out to us, hello@edmondcounseling.com, and let us know you'd like to be on our email list. And we will keep you updated. We also have our annual Summer Sales Fest going on between now and next Friday. Yay!
Yay!
And so our annual Summer Sales Fest, members get 20% off all on-demand courses. It is unlimited. If you buy 1 course, if you buy 5 courses, it's 20% off. And so you just need to use the discount code MEMBER2024. And again, that's only open to members. And so if you are not a member and you would like to become a member, go to counselinginstitute.org and there is a tab that says membership. Click on that and go ahead and fill out the form. Our membership is free for the first 30 days. And after that, it is very inexpensive compared to other organizations for a whole year. But if you have any questions, again, reach out to us, hello@edmondcounseling.com.
Yeah, absolutely. So, go to that counselinginstitute.org and check out how to become a member and also check out all the on-demand courses that we have available. And go ahead and get them now, watch them now, and then that way you're ahead for next year already.
Absolutely. As we have between our sale and our upcoming live webinars, we have plenty of wonderful trainings coming up to get you ahead of the game.
Yeah, fantastic. So also what's going on in the world of mental health in Oklahoma. So I know that Hayley and I have a couple of stories. We did not talk beforehand about what our stories are, so we'll see if they overlap at all. So Hayley, I know you have 2, I have 1. So give us your first one. What is your story about what's happening in mental health?
So my first story is really a national story. So what research has found is that kids who move multiple times before the age of 15 have a significant increased risk of developing depression as adults. And so one study found that if a child has had 2 moves, that's moving households between the ages of 10 and 15, they have a 61% increase of developing depression as an adult. If they have 1 move during that period, it's about a 40% increase in that. And so I know, Micah, you and I have talked a little bit about, big T trauma and little T trauma. Kayla Jones did a training with us about 4 or 5 years ago that's still in the catalog on just introduction to treating trauma. And she talked about how those small T traumas, can have small T traumas being things like moving or maybe deployment. So it's not necessarily a DSM-5 criteria, a PTSD trauma, but it is something that is traumatic, how that can still have a significant impact on mental health and well-being. And this is another one of those studies that just shows how jarring something like that can be to a kiddo and can have long-standing effects into adulthood.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that is really interesting. And talking about the big T and little T traumas, not little T traumas aren't to minimize them in any way.
Right.
Obviously, they're really significant for people to deal with. It more has to do with what type of approach in treatment. So, we're going to use something like prolonged exposure therapy or written exposure therapy to treat it, as opposed to process it, maybe look at some, underlying beliefs associated with it, things like that. But wow, that is really interesting that moving has that much of an impact on on kiddos.
Absolutely. And so just something to keep in mind, I guess, when we're working with kiddos or, working with families too, just to put in some of those protective factors, 'Cause I'm sure, I think about moving. It's not just, leaving behind a house or, grieving the loss of our neighborhood, but it's also developing those new social connections as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Haley. So the news that I have has to do with a court ruling that was done last Thursday in the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. And they ruled last Thursday that a woman who is pregnant that uses medical marijuana, that they aren't breaking the law. So they can't be charged with child abuse or neglect if they are, they have a medical marijuana card, and if they choose to smoke or consume marijuana while they're pregnant, that they can't be charged with abuse or neglect.
Oh, wow. So I know previously exposure, had been considered abuse or neglect, but I guess now since it's medical, something that's prescribed, then there's different connotations to that.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that is really interesting how that's how the law is right now. And uh, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals did, in their ruling, petition the legislative branch to change the law in that, so that it would be considered as abuse or neglect. But right now, how the law is written, it is not.
It's amazing how I still feel like we're in the wild west of medical marijuana. It's federally, it's still not legal. And, it's only been legal in Oklahoma for 5 years this month. And so it is still a fairly new phenomenon. I feel like even though it's been around for 5 years, we're still trying to work out what it means to have a medical marijuana card.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Haley. So what is your last piece of news for today?
So the last piece of news for today for me is something that really caught me off guard. And honestly had never really read up on research before this. And that is, did you know that 10% of seasonal affect disorder takes place in the summer?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so this research comes out of the University of Arizona. And so what they found is that about 10% of cases of seasonal affect disorder take place in the summer. And, in seasonal affect disorder in the wintertime, it looks a lot like depression. In the summertime, it can have the effects of depression, but you're most likely to see an increase in irritability, fatigue, and anxiety-related disorders in the summertime. And so it's a similar diagnosis, but more likely to make folks feel anxious. And what the researchers have found is that there's many different factors that can contribute to that. One of them is, if you have seasonal affect disorder, the depression in the summertime, what they see is, if it gets too hot, folks are staying inside more. And so just like in the wintertime, we're not getting that vitamin D exposure. We're also not connecting to people as much if we're staying inside. If it's 110 degrees like it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, of course, we're not going to be outside with our friends or, making plans. But also that increase in anxiety is related to folks feeling more fatigued, feeling more on edge due to the heat. And so you see that increase in agitation, which leads to an increase in overall anxiety. So that was something that I honestly I'd never seen in the research before. But yeah, they're attributing 10% of seasonal affect disorder takes place in the summertime.
Wow, that is interesting. And I wonder if the treatment for it, like light therapy, if that's something that's warranted for people that have, seasonal affective disorder in the summer, if it's the same strategy or if it's a different strategy.
That's a good question, as I can see, especially for the seasonal affect disorder depressive symptoms, like doing light therapy. Because again, if you're not outside, because it's way too hot, it's dangerous to be outside. But with the anxiety portion, most of the research in this article focused on the anxiety portion. For the anxiety portion, they really encourage folks to drink more water, as well as pay attention to their sleep schedule, because they said that part of the reason why seasonal affect disorder is so significant in the wintertime is because our circadian rhythm is off, because it's so much less light in the day. And they said it's the exact same thing that happens in the summertime. Whenever the days are too long, our sleep schedule gets off. It's harder for us to wind down in the evenings, so our sleep quality might be affected, because if it's light outside until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, that's going to affect our wind down time. I know for me, I'm an early bird, but I typically don't go to sleep until about 10:30 or 11 during the summertime. And so just they said to pay attention to your circadian rhythm, make sure that you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're staying hydrated, and also to rule out any kind of medical conditions too, because the research said too, during the summertime was whenever folks are more likely to have inflammation as well, due to the heat and due to allergens, which can also contribute to that agitation and that anxiety.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you, Hayley. Well, Hayley, moving on to our winner for this week. Who is our winner in the drawing for this week?
So our winner this week is Sarah Mears.
Hey,
So
well, congratulations, Sarah.
Congratulations, Sarah. What did Sarah win this week?
So Sarah won a Starbucks gift card. So congratulations, Sarah. Hope you enjoy your Starbucks beverage, whether it's a hot one or a cold one. We hope you enjoy it. And thank you for supporting Oklahoma Counseling Institute. So, Hayley, how did she win, and how can other people win?
So Sarah liked last week's post whenever Micah was so low. So Sarah liked last week's post, and so she was entered into this week's drawing. If you would also like to be entered into next week's drawing, what you can do is you can you can comment, and you can share this post. Every time you do one of those three things, you get another chance to win. And so if you like it, if you share it, and if you comment your answer to this week's question, that is 3 chances to win next week. And so this week's question is, what Olympic event are you most looking forward to? Because Olympics start this week in Paris, right, Micah?
I believe so. Yeah. So how about you, Hayley? What is your favorite Olympic activity to watch, an Olympic sport to watch?
I am really interested in watching the weightlifting. So I've heard that it's going to be taken out of the Olympics next year, or at least very much limited because of the use of steroids and whatnot. So the committee is already looking at taking it out of the LA Olympics. And so I really want to watch them this year, just in case it's the last one for a bit.
Oh, wow. Well, I typically like watching gymnastics. And so, watching the men's gymnastics or the women's gymnastics, those are usually my favorites. But I think all of us are looking forward to seeing the breakdancing being in the Olympics for the first time this year.
Oh, that will be incredible. That's a workout. My gosh. That's
So we'd love
I don't have.
We'd love to hear from you. So if you put in the comments what sport that you're looking forward to seeing in the Olympics, then please enter that in the comments below, and share the Monday Lunchtime Digest today. And each time you do those things, then you're entered in to win. And we appreciate people doing that. Every time people share, come to an online workshop, come to an in-person workshop, watch an on-demand course. Anytime you do those things, tell a colleague, a friend about us. You are helping to support the mission of providing quality continuing education in Oklahoma for Oklahoma mental health professionals. And we thank people so much for doing that. If you'd like to join our team at Edmond Counseling and Professional Development, then just go to oklahomacounselingjobs.com. Presently, we have 2 positions available for a full-time clinician or a part-time clinician. And we would love to have you check us out, apply, and to consider joining our team.
Yes. And so you get to work with Mike and I every day, which is just a perk of the job, right?
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, everyone, have a good week. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.